I just wanted to get started and once again, thank Peter for putting this on and helping make this thing happen. Obviously, we've all been pretty frustrated with what's been going on and the lack of communication and interaction with our teams and programs respectively. But being able to spend time together and talk football is something that I love doing. And obviously to be asked and to be a part of this is something that I'm just thrilled and thankful for the opportunity. So, hopefully we get something or there's something here that you guys can take and get out of it. We'll be talking a little bit about our quarterback progressions and how we look at the pass game and kind of our structure in what we do at the University of Windsor. So really starting off and giving you kind of a background of where we're at. I mean, we took over a program in March of 2019, which feels like forever ago. And we really had about 4 or 5 months with our guys where we had to get ready for the season. And for me as an offensive coordinator and really going into my first season in that role, it was something that, like Coach Samara had alluded to earlier, you've got to be able to establish an identity of who you're going to be and what you're going to do. And so for us, we want to be a team that attacks the whole field. We want to play a physical and relentless brand of football. We want to have balance, but also have the ability to attack weaknesses and play the matchup depending on what that week's opponent is. And we have the mentality we want to pass the score and be aggressive and push the ball down the field. But when it comes down to it, we want to be able to control the line of scrimmage, run to finish out halves, run to finish out games, and really run the ball to seal games off and win. But ultimately, what are we trying to do? We're trying to create those one-on-one situations where we can get our guy in space and force the defender to try and make a tackle on that guy. And so for us, whether it's scheme, whether it's formation, motion, whatever it is, trying to create and establish a leverage where we can get that ball and either outflank the defender or create a lot of space for that player. But I'm extremely proud of what we were able to do in our first year and really, again, looking forward to kind of getting the next opportunity to compete within the OUA and for us at Windsor, getting a chance, as I said, to look back and to be honest, it gets tiring looking at the same film and you're looking at the same mistakes and trying to, hope that film changes from year to year, but we're stuck right now. And we're just trying to be in a place where we can coach our guys and meet with them and teach them the game and teach them the whys and the hows of what we're doing so that from an execution standpoint, we can take that next step. Now, this is an important thing for our guys. Again, our pass game, gentlemen, it's based on timing. It's based on spacing, distribution of concepts and what we're trying to do, whether we're trying to stretch the defense vertically, whether we're trying to stretch them horizontally, what we're trying to do to attack and put defenders in conflict. And this is an important slide, and it's important for our guys to know because when we look at what we do from an X's and O's standpoint, formationally, everything needs to be measured and calculated so that when we run concepts, things are starting to open up and windows and routes are getting into specific areas. So our quarterback understands, where they need to go with the ball. And if that first window isn't to his liking, then the second one is going to open up sequentially and so on and so forth. So we try and build it and structure it so that our quarterback, it can essentially be quarterback friendly. And we can allow that decision maker, the quarterback, to gain confidence and understand, what we're trying to do and where we're trying to go with the football. So we got to be detail oriented, so that we can kind of have that rhythm and flow of the pass game where the routes are married to the quarterback's drop and his feet. And we don't feel like we've got to sit on something and hope it comes open and hold the ball. The quarterback's got a tough job. We've got to try and accelerate his decision-making process and try and give him confidence of knowing what he sees and where to go with the football. So we try and give him a few things pre-snap. Again, whether it's our quarterback, whether it's our receivers, obviously our offensive line, every player on the field is trying to get information pre-snap. All right. For our quarterbacks, we talk about having a consistent approach to each snap. We want to find the safety or safeties where they're at. We want to understand what the contour of the coverage is. So looking to see, what are the defensive backs' depth, where are their eyes, where's their leverage? Are they playing inside? Are they playing outside? And what's the front? What's the box look like? Is there something in our game plan or our prep or study of that opponent where, a certain front detects pressure, right? Or that pressure or that look detects what coverage they're going to be in. So we want to try and get the tips and the keys and really the answers for the test before that ball is snapped. And now when that ball is snapped and we feel great about what we're looking at, now we can just start to confirm what we've seen and the information we've taken in. And now we can play fast and confidently and try and accelerate the process of, where that ball is going or where the adjustment is on a specific route or how we're attacking a leverage when we're working a combination, even in the run game, right? So it's all about understanding, how does the information that the defense is giving us, what does that tell us is likely to happen? And obviously teams are going to run disguises and so on and so forth. Some teams make it, a priority to keep everything looking the same. So you're not getting that same pre-snap look or you're not getting the same amount of tips, but you can start to look at it and kind of reverse engineer the equation. If this is what they're in, then they can't be in that. So we talk about free safety alignment. We give our guys 5 different kind of options or classifications. Again, we'll marry them up to what kind of coverages they can be in. And it's tough. I know some of you guys in high school and club football, you don't have access to the film and you can't see it. But understanding and, matching up, if the free safety is going to be to the field and he's bumping out to your numbers, then he's not rotating weak. They're more than likely not going to bring any type of boundary pressure. So starting to marry up where those alignments are and what that defense is trying to do out of that alignment and starting to build, whether it's you as a play caller, whether it's someone that's spotting for you, whether it's a receivers coach that's trying to figure out what, the in-game adjustment is, or your quarterback when you're studying film, or if you have the access to film, you can start to now, get some of those keys of, okay, the free safety's playing to the boundary. That's because they're going to send the boundary half, right? Or they're going to bring some type of Sam pressure and the free safety is now down over the third receiver or he's playing low. So everything kind of tells us a story and we want to try and marry it up to find some tendencies. And again, find some keys to that test where, if there's a certain pressure they like to run, we now know when to expect it and that can trigger a response for us. The other one that we look at is contour, coverage contour. So, here we just have a 2 receiver set. But it's going to be similar when you're looking at a 3 or a 4 receiver set. You're going to marry up to what it is. And if it's a team that disguises or, they want to invert and change at the last second, then you can start to establish what it isn't. All right. And now, again, we've got to confirm from the quarterback, hey, this is what we think it's going to be, and this is what we're seeing. So for us, we try and keep it simple. It's 4 looks and really our whole team's going to know what this is. We talk about cut contour where the corner is the low zone player, the half is the high player, hold where the half is low, the corner's high, off where they're both kind of playing soft and they're not in a threatening position, and then low where maybe they're both down, maybe they're trying to press. So again, those 4 families, our receivers need to be able to be in the same mindset as the quarterback of, hey, I've got to understand what's happening in front of me, because the way our offense works, it's 3-down football. You got 2 downs. So you don't really have time to hope that the defense, their call aligns with what you're trying to do. So you got to have flexibility in what you call and the schemes you run, so that, they're good against any look and you've got answers depending, whatever they throw at you. So our receivers and our routes, they'll have some adjustments built in where if you get a low player, you're converting and you're going high. If you get a soft player and you're in a soft spot of the zone, you're cutting it down and you're sitting in that hole. So things like that where we can adjust on the fly. Our quarterback has the understanding of what we're doing from a receiver standpoint. He can see it from his spot in his vantage point behind the center, and the receivers see it outside, and they're all thinking the same thing. So we're trying to get everyone on the same page. The next thing we do is we try and group everything together. So we try and keep it simple of, we want to family all of our passing concepts together. So we have, I think it's 6 that we kind of go through, and we try and put every play that we have within one of these 6 families. So whether it's a lateral progression, some people call it a pure or a true progression, where you're literally reading from one side of the field to the other. This can be a number of different routes. For us, we're going to see some clips. We run a stick concept where we've got an out by number 1. We've got an out by 2. If he reads zone, he's going to sit down in the hole. If the outside player has, a low defender, he's going to outside release and go. And so now our quarterback's starting out here, he's working back. So we'll bring someone else, whether we want to run, some hitches on a switch release that we run, we call it a spacing concept, whether we want to run, a drive where we're running a dig and a drive across the field. Now, the quarterback's like that sprinkler, right? Where he's looking and he's working across the field. And the way everything times up is those windows should be opening in sequential order, so that if we don't like number 1, well, why would we not like an out by the number 1? Well, the corner's low. So we're going to outside release him. We're going to try and clear him out, create space for number 2. So these guys are kind of working protection of each other. If we don't like any of those, maybe backers are playing hard over to the boundary or playing off of the quarterback's eyes. Now we just work back. So we take the primary read and where the quarterback's eyes are, and we bring things into the picture. Okay. Another common play that, you've seen a lot of people run, a mesh concept. So, we work a single receiver route or a single receiver read over here where, we've got an outbreaker and we got guys running in the mesh. We run it with a drive concept. So again, you have that lateral progression. So you're 1 to 2 to 3, you're working back. So trying to simplify it where those are 2 different concepts, but we can family them together for the quarterback so he understands, all right, how to execute the play. And so, you might use different motions, different formations. You might have a different wrinkle that you throw in, but if you keep the decision making and the progression for the quarterback consistent, now they're able to feel that rhythm and understand that, hey, it's not 15 different plays. It's one way that we're going to make this decision. And now they feel a little bit more confident telling you, okay, my eyes are going here to there to there. And with a quarterback, when you're looking at how he's going to deliver the ball and how he understands where to go with the ball, having eye discipline and knowing what you're looking at is huge. And so for us, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. And obviously this is what we do. And I'm not saying this is the only way. There's a million ways to skin the cat, but I feel like for us as an offense, we want to be the ones that are dictating what we're doing. We don't want to read a defender. Did he wink? Did he back up? Did he not move? Did he step forward? There's going to be defenders in key positions that are going to be in our line of sight that, again, give us information, and our receivers are going to adjust off of that. But at the end of the day, if our first read's open, we want to cut that thing loose and we want to put it on them now. Okay. We don't want to be paralyzed by analysis of everything that's going on. So we want to build that confidence. We want to organize this thing. So if on, heading into a week, we see a formation that, Carlton ran against, Queens, and we like the way that their adjustment is, we feel like we can create leverage that way, then we're going to, maybe change or tweak a concept that we run to fit in that and take advantage of it. So there we go. And we're out. And rather than having to ask the quarterback, hey, what are you thinking on ABC? It's all right, this is lateral progression. So if it's this play, if it's that play, if it's AB or XYZ, it's the same thought process. So, I don't have to practice 15 plays 5 different times against every single look. I get into the rhythm. I know what I'm looking at. If my guy's open, I'm cutting it loose. Okay. So the second one we look at, and again, you guys all run schemes that fit into these categories, right? Whether you call it, whatever it is, mesh is a simple concept, right? Stick is a simple concept. All right. And you can kind of see when you watch your tape and you see how these things unfold. Where's the first window? Where's the primary read getting now? where's the quarterback got to progress to. So another simple read is we're just taking, you know, the old 4 verticals play and we're working one side. So we have our slot run a seam post. He can bend it depending on what the guy on top of him's playing. Outside, we've got what we call a stem route, which is really a kind of combination of a curl and a comeback, where at the top we're coming straight back down the stem, and now our quarterback can throw inside off an outside leverage defender or put the ball outside off an inside leverage defender. And again, if he gets a press corner or a low, he's converting and going vertical. And then whether we have a third guy checking out of the backfield, whether we have an under from the opposite side, we're always going to have something coming low to finish the read or to complete the concept, where we can work inside, outside, and down. And it might be something that hitches over the ball. It might be a flat, whatever it is. So we try and create those relationships by looking at the concepts that we run. And this is something that you can run mirrored, right? Where you can run this out here. Everyone runs some type of 4 vertical play. It's now, you know, maybe pre-snapping which side we want to go. You know, maybe it's leaking the back out the other way. Maybe it's just sitting him over the ball. So you start to build options with stuff that you already run, but you're categorizing it so that when you tweak it or you run a different formation, it's not a completely new thought to the quarterback. So I apologize if some of this is a little bit choppy for you guys. We'll try and watch it a few times. And obviously when we get through it and you get a chance to ask questions, whatever I can help and go through, I will. I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking specifically about techniques, but just how everything works in unison together. So the first play we're looking at, we're running a stick concept. So we've got 2 outs, okay, to the boundary. Again, lateral progression, we're starting outside and we're working back, okay? So again, we have a low defender. He has a conversion. Obviously, the corner's high. We talk about knowing what the pre-snap contour is. Well, free safety's in the middle of the field, not really a major key for any type of pressure indicator. We look at what we have outside from these 2 defensive backs. We got the corner that's clearly higher than the half, all right? And now as they work into the route, now we're seeing a confirmation, okay? This half isn't going to move down at the snap to be a deep quarter player or to be a deep third player. So our guys got to be able to see this. Our outside guys got to be able to see this, right? Just like if this guy dives down at the snap, now we got to be into a conversion. Even though he's 10 yards off pre-snap, he's working down. He's a low zone player. We've got to outside release and either work getting into this hole over here and taking the whole shot, but more realistically clearing him out, trying to widen him so that the next inside guy has more space and more room to operate. So you can see with this quick game, you know, it's catch and throw. What are we trying to do? We're trying to create space, get the ball into that one-on-one situation, right? With this out, this low zone player here is trying to reroute and redirect outside. I mean, you can see the space that we've created. It's a catch and throw, and now we've got a one-on-one in space. So we threw a 6-yard route, wasn't really covered or contested. Our quarterback can see it pre-snap, and now it's up to our guy to make one guy miss, you know, make a couple guys miss, and now we just turn a very simple and efficient route and concept that's going to be, you know, completed at 75, 80%. And we've turned it from a 6-yard gain to a 14-yard gain. Now we're moving the chains, we're moving the sticks. Okay, so here's another look at it. This time, rather than running it to the boundary, we're running it to the field. So when you run this thing to the field, you know, coach, this is a pretty short route. Absolutely it is. So we don't want to throw this thing 45 yards unless we're, you know, sure that this guy's playing off and soft. Okay, so from a pre-snap understanding, quarterback looks out here. He says, okay, this thing's a little hairy. He's still playing it. I don't want to throw to the field unless I'm absolutely sure that we're going to get space and we're going to have a chance to do something with the ball after it's caught. Okay. So now rather than starting his progression out here, he can say, all right, I'm going to move on here. I'm going to work 1 to 2 coming across to 3. This guy's going to work across. And now I have my 1, 2, and 3. I have my lateral progression. It's built into the play. And I'm going to be honest with you, fellas, I've never gotten past this spot running this play. So if they present a look that we don't like, maybe we have 2 press and they're in some type of 2-man, moving the linebackers with our guys, getting into our conversions, we're going to have a great chance to take a shot or work back against a receiver on a linebacker matchup. Okay, so we freeze cadence them here. We see softness. All right, again, where's our easiest access point? With him playing low, all right, again, our quarterback's pretty much said, we don't need to risk this throw to stay in the air to get all the way out there. So what happens? Our slot sees softness. He just throttles down. Quarterback really excludes this post snap. He starts his read right here in the slot. He's open. Put it on him right now. Again, here's one of our better players with the ball in his hands, and he's going against the linebacker in space. We like that matchup. All right. So this is a play that you can run on second and short. You can, if you got a guy that you feel can win matchups consistently in man, first down, you're a heavy run team. You can get into heavy run formations and run a simple concept like this and take advantage of the space and the leverage that you can create just based on the team, not wanting to get beat deep or not wanting to play everything tight at the line of scrimmage. And when teams show their hand pre-snap, it becomes even easier for your quarterback to see, where am I starting with my progression? And I know that if I don't like this, I'm coming back here. I'm coming back all the way across. So this is all from the same game. And you can see now we've gone to two different players. We're going to run a third time. And again, when we ran this to the field, here's the corner. He's playing low. He's a pretty good athlete. We don't have a ton of space, and we don't like having to throw this ball 45 yards to get 6. The half is playing low. Our quarterback sees that. So now he's just going to blink at this thing and confirm it. Absolutely. And now he's working the backside. All right. Backers split. We're throwing the ball right over the middle. Ball's gone. Again, one-on-one situation. Let's catch the ball. Let's knife. We knew these guys were going to play their backers and splay them and really be more of a spot drop team. So again, a simple concept, simple decision-making for our quarterback. We can run it out of a million different formations and motions to hide where we're getting to. But when it boils right down to it, it's you're working left to right. And so an easy thing that you guys can take and whether it's a route concept or combination that you already run, if it's something similar, add it to your game. And now you can be consistent with your communication and how you coach your quarterback and, his decision-making process and where to go with the ball. Okay. So looking at two, really, again, our 4 vertical concept, we're going kind of a seam post here. He has a bend option if someone's on top of him. Again, a low player, we can convert this to a go, all right, and get vertical, or we can cut it off and run that stem route that I'm talking about. And then again, we're coming low across the field. So with this, we want to try on the backside to hold that free safety and hold that middle of the field player so we can keep this side open. So out of his drop, quarterback showing shoulders, eyes to the field. We've got a guy running a thin corner to try and hold that free safety, but our quarterback knows he's going inside, outside, and down on this progression. Okay. So here, our receiver's thinking, if someone's on top of me, all right, I'm not going to run into a coverage. All right, I'll bend it and flatten it off. With this high half playing outside leverage and widening, right? He sees space, he takes it. Our quarterback sees this thing open up. Is our guy open as we get to the top of our drop? Absolutely. Go throw the ball in space. All right, over the top, great throw. All right, simple. All right, is our first read open? Yes, take it. All right, we don't have to, be mesmerized by looking at a million different guys. Now, is that high player on the boundary side going to, help us make that decision? Absolutely. But we don't want to have to be stared down and be paralyzed by all this analysis on what he's actually doing. Is our guy open? Do we feel like we're by him or threatening him? Let's go. Okay. And now with this picture, you can see how it's going to open up and how this route's going to develop. Okay. So with this linebacker staying kind of in the middle of the hash and the number, all right, he's still giving us access to go outside. So let's say this half is right on top of our seam. We don't like the bend because when he bends it, this guy's still in the window. Now we have access outside. Okay. So he could have converted this here and taken it and trying to get behind him and run by him. He ends up chopping it out. Again, with the stem, even though he's in breaking, it gives us the flexibility. Our receivers are coming right back down that vertical stem that they had. If the defender's outside, ball can come inside like a curl. If the defender's inside, ball can go outside like a comeback. Okay, so a little bit of flexibility there. And then here's our low route coming late into that window. Okay, so you'll see now, we're overloading this side of the field, and the way everything is timed up, these windows are going to open up, matching up with our quarterback's footwork and in the sequential order that we're looking at. So here's our first one. If it's there, take it. If not, we're going outside. If it's there, take it. If not, we're dropping it down. Simple as that. Okay, so you see another look here. Here we're in an inverted split, so we have our slot on the ball. We saw what I think the week before Western's defense was playing Guelph. So we got a chance. These guys ran it. It kind of locked them into a couple different coverage looks. We don't get it here, which is fine because we still have the process and the decision-making progression from our quarterback to understand where we want to go with the ball. So here's our seam. All right. Obviously, he's inside of 4 defenders. We don't like it. All right. The backer flies out of there. It's second and long in the red zone. We took a sack on first down, so it's second forever. All right. We're just trying to get close and set ourselves up. It's tough to have a play call for 2nd and 18. All right. But here we go. We see the seam. It's not there. All right. Now at the top, we're hitching. We're going outside, and it's off the screen. I apologize. All right. But again, we have access. You can see it come into play here. The defender's playing off and inside. So the stem now turns into really a comeback throw, and we go up and get it. Okay. So how can they take them both away? Well, if this guy plays with more width and gets under the comeback, all right, our quarterback doesn't like making that throw. Well, here we have a low route with, if that guy's, 10, 12 yards away, we're flying, we catch this thing on the move, we turn up, we got a full head of steam on a flat-footed defender. I like our matchup. So whether we're picking up 3 or 4 on a completion and getting tackled, no, not likely. By the time we get to our third read, all right, those guys have played from high to low, right? Defenders are going to try and push back and take care of those down the field shots. So if we've got to hold on to the ball and get it out late, now we've at least given our receiver space to go make a play and go pick up a first down on really a 3-yard route. Okay, so here's a look at it in the fall. We were able to get some practice time in and run Skelly. All right, and you can see it here again. All right, so a different look. Our defense is playing pretty level. All right, they're not trying to give anything away. Our slot, we want to try and get a better release here. We get jammed up, but our quarterback doesn't like it. He kind of gets pinballed around there. That's fine. Now he can just move on. Quarterback needs to not feel paralyzed, to stick and hope something comes open. If it's not there, we want to move on. We don't want to hang on routes, right? Our eyes get locked in, and now all these guys that are back here reading us, all right, start going to where we're looking. So we come off of it. There's the stem route. All right, he sees the corner off inside. He puts the ball low and outside. He gets it over the half. It just turns into really seam comeback. Okay. Again, who can take that play away? The low zone player plays underneath. Now we can come back to our under, who's got a full head of steam that can catch and turn it up and knife and try and get as much as he can. So marrying those things together. Okay. So now what are some of the other things? You run a dig flat or a curl concept, a high low out here. Again, same thought process. All your high lows, whether it's a dig, whether it's a curl, whatever it is, all right, put those things together. All right, put them all in the same family so it's easy for the quarterback to understand, hey, on XYZ, this is what I'm doing. We look at really outside inside progression, and you're going to see the next play, all we've done is switch those 2 cats. All right, we're going to take our slot and switch release him and run the vertical up the rail. Now we're going to delay our outside receiver, and he's going to come into the window second. So on the last one, we worked inside, outside. Now we're going outside, inside. Okay. Other progressions that you can work, ladder concepts. So again, everyone has a flood concept, vertical, deep out, shallow out. All right, or whatever combination of those things. Again, I'm looking to throw the big ball first, and then I'm working my way back down, top down here. Quick game, we're throwing double hitches, right? I'm working outside in. Or if I'm running double slants, I'm working inside out. So putting everything in these categories so that your quarterback knows it, and you don't have to have that kid understand 60 different reads and paralyze them by having to memorize this whole script. We already asked them to do so much. They got to know protection. They got to know, their footwork on the run, footwork on the pass, where they're going when they get bumped out of their spot, blitz answers, all that stuff. So let's compartmentalize it so his decision making can be clean and efficient. So I only have a couple clips left. I know I'm running out of time, Peter. All right. But again, you're going to see switch verticals here. Okay. Here's our slot. He's going to be the one that opens up first. Okay. Sorry. All right. Switch release. We catch some in man coverage here. Watch the quarterback. He gets to the top of his drop and he's ready to make the decision. All right. We're even here on man coverage. We want to take the shot. So we get a hell of a throw and a hell of a catch, and we go put that thing out there and let them go. Okay. But if they're in some type of zone coverage, that's not what we're going to do. So again, it allows our guys to not be so critical of thinking all these if-then scenarios and saying, hey, is our guy in a favorable spot? Do we have a chance? If so, throw the ball. Simple as that. Okay. So this is earlier in the game. All right. They're in a cut look, right? And they're playing, the half on a deep third. So again, our quarterback gets to the top of his drop. Well, is he in a chance to go win this vertically? Absolutely not. So now I'm going to look off of that guy and look to the outside route coming inside. So outside's not there. Now I'm going back inside. And you can see, conveniently enough, the way it's built in is this guy's going to take that deep zone player. So can we get leverage on him? Well, we switch, we get leverage inside, we put the ball on him. All right, this one's a little dicey. This is a real tight window. All right, and this is about as late as you can be with this ball. Okay, our coaching point to this on this route is we draw a line down the middle of the field here between the numbers and the hash, and we say this is a cliff. Okay, we don't want the quarterback to throw this receiver up the field past this line, because now we're just setting ourselves up for that collision. So if we have to cross this line, we better flatten this guy out significantly so that this type of blow from a free safety isn't going to be something that causes him a headache, and changing the angle is going to protect that player. So as much as it's on him, it's also on a receiver. He's got to understand his leverage and how he's going to work into that spot. So he can't be in a hurry to just bend this thing to the middle of the field. Then when we come back to him, that free safety is going to be right there. So again, what are we trying to do on the top side? We're trying to run vertical, hold that player. And here it comes. All right. So we want to push. We stem him and we get head up, try and squeeze him back vertically to create space and time to get into this window without running through it. And there it is. Okay. And again, you're going to see it work out. Well, who can take that away? They've taken away the vertical. They've taken away our first one. Who can take away the second one? Well, that backer stays high in the post hole. All right. He takes it away. Again, where's our third option? Well, 10 yards away on a guy that's now flying up the field here. Him flat-footed. We catch this ball. We turn up the sideline. I like our chances. All right. We create space for this guy to go make someone miss and do something with the football. So hopefully, I got one more clip. Sorry. Okay. So this one's a little tight. So here's against the University of Ottawa. All right. They're bringing pressure here. So our quarterback does a hell of a job hanging in there and letting this thing loose. All right. They bring a boundary half. Here you see the free safety rotate weak. So our guy needs to be able to see this and feel it. Now we get our first read. It's there. We cut it loose. Where's the guy outside? Outside's open. He puts it inside because that's where our leverage is. We go and make the catch, while we're taking a big shot. So a lot of it depends on who you got back there in terms of the types of routes and concepts you're able to run. But do yourself a favor, make it easy for you as a play caller, make it easy for your quarterback, and categorize those things so that you can stay organized in the different types of decision making that they're going to have to execute on those specific routes. So if we got 5 different routes that we're going to look at this way, they know that, hey, I'm inside, outside, and down. All right. Or I'm lateral progression. I'm pure progression read here. Or it's ladder progression. I'm top down. I got my big ball. I got my deep out. I got my shallow. You know, all those sorts of things. So hopefully, guys, you got a couple things out of that. Again, I appreciate Peter allowing me to come here and share some of the stuff that we do here with you. I know it was quick. You know, a couple things that hopefully you can take and add, implement into your program.